Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bronze Age Minecraft, a series where we set out to recreate the Bronze Age settlements of ancient Greece. My name is Archaeologist, and I'm a professional archaeologist and certified interpretive guide. And I know what you're thinking. Archaeologist, why are you on a dirt pillar? Well, it's to get a good look at the first layer of the second story that I laid out. Now, I want to break up the walls of the upper story of Pylos so that it's not just a big giant shoebox. And I'd also like to get a good top-down view so I can plan out what I want to do. So let me show you what I'm thinking. So I think this is kind of a balcony and this is kind of a balcony. I want to put a balcony there and probably come this way around the Queen's Megaron. Maybe this way a little bit. And then maybe along the side here, maybe. And these can all be rooms here. I, of course, will change up the walls. And then on this side, I definitely want some sort of balcony to where you can walk out of this complex, across into this one, and see out into this plaza, just like what you got here. This, I think I'll keep a single story just because it makes sense to be like that. Obviously, balcony around the Megaron. And maybe I don't bring the light wells all the way up to the roof? No, maybe I do. Now, maybe a balcony here looking down into that area? Definitely a big balcony sort of right here, sort of like a big old hangout area. Yeah, I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit. So what I think, oh my god, I am right on the edge of this. I think I'm going to play around with this a little bit and come back. And then I'll show you what I'm thinking. Be right back.
Many hours later.
Okay, I did a lot of tinkering to get to this, so let me show you what I'm thinking. First up, the balconies. And they're not so much balconies as they are just sort of open air hallways and things that sort of overlook the area. When I think of balconies, I think of something that juts out from a building, and this isn't that. This is just sort of an area that is basically the roof of the room underneath, but it's open on one side instead of a wall. You get what I'm talking about. Next up is the bedrooms. These are all going to be bedrooms. So the first story is nothing but utility rooms and storage and administration with the occasional living quarters. But up here, it's going to be living quarters with the occasional utility and storage. The left side there is going to be a little bit like a motel where there's a long open air walkway with rooms that have doorways facing it. On the other side, it'll be a little bit more clustered rather than linear. Next is going to be the sort of waiting room hangout area where people can go and sit and talk and do whatever it is they do during their downtime during the Bronze Age. I don't know, maybe complain about the crappy copper coming from Cyprus or the newfangled arsenic additive to bronze, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of Ya Nasir jokes in the comments. Honorable mention goes to the closets and storage. And you'll notice that some of those closets are actually attached to some of the bedrooms, and that is absolutely on purpose. And if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that there have been some rooms that I left out. More than likely, those are either going to be utility, storage, or something else that I come up with as I get to them. But first, well, I gotta put the walls up. Alright, let's talk about Pylos and the territory that it controlled. Now, a lot of the stuff we've learned from the Linear B tablets found at Pylos. And in previous episodes, I've talked about the Linear B tablets. Now, these tablets were basically receipts for things coming and going from the palace, and were used to record things such as logging dedications, military service, and even taxes. Now it's that last one that gives us a clue as to how the kingdom of Pylos was run. And it appears that the territory of Pylos was divided up into two sections. These two sections are what archaeologists call the Hinter Province and the Further Province, which is just some fancy way of saying the land that's closer to us and the land that's farther away. The names for these two provinces are Pere Akoraija and Dewe Ro Akoraija.
Joe Dirte!
Don't try and church it up, son.
Now you might notice that Akoraija is in both, and we think that it's referring to the Egalio mountain range, with Pera being the equivalent to the same word para in Greek, meaning beyond, and Dawero being the equivalent of Deuro, or basically here, or you could say, closer. Now, one of the neat things about the Linear B tablets is that they name many smaller settlements within the territory of Pylos that had taxes enacted upon them. From this, we can get an idea of the size of those towns relative to each other. And what I mean by that is if you have two towns and one town is taxed for twice the amount of goods as the other town, we can make the assumption that the first town is probably twice the size and or has twice the amount of resources. And what's even cooler is that we've actually found some of those settlements. So what kind of things would a town have to pay in taxes to the palatial complex at Pylos? Well, it's pretty much what you would expect from a Bronze Age community. Animals, metals, foodstuff, flax, the usual type of things. But we also learned that certain people were exempt from these taxes, specifically bronzesmiths. Matter of fact, the palace gave out a rather small but nonetheless free bit of bronze to the bronzesmiths. Alright, now that that's done, it's time to start filling these rooms. Now, since the entirety of the second floor is nothing but conjecture, I'm not going to go room by room and talk about what's going to go in there. I've already shown you what rooms I plan to have certain things in. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do a quick little time lapse from above of me putting some stuff in these rooms. It should go by pretty quick.
Ooh, how close do we get? Ooh, okay. Oh, what happens if I go over here? Whoa! Alright, let's quit screwing around. Let's get to it.
With multiple towns and a vast range of land to administer, a structure of command is needed. And here, the Linear B tablets shed some light on just what that structure looked like. You've heard me make reference to the word Wanox, and that word means king or ruler, and we get that from the Linear B tablets. Prior to the translation of the Linear B tablets, the word actually appeared in Homer as well. Under the Wanox is the Lawagetas, and below that are many more lesser positions, all the way down. An interesting thing to note is that when the Linear B tablets recorded contributions to the palace from various people, the Wanox was not exempt from those contributions, nor was the Lawagetas. In fact, the Wanox was even recorded serving on board a warship when others were required to serve as well. It seems that the Wanox, though a ruler, still had to contribute his time and goods to the greater needs of the kingdom. Alright, I think that'll do it for this episode. We got a lot done today. The second story walls are up and the rooms in the main building are filled. Okay then. Well, looks like people are already moving in. Where was I? Oh yeah, next episode. Next episode we will move on to the second half of the Palatial complex and fill those rooms as well. Following that, we'll put a roof on the building and move to the rather neglected village if we have enough time. But until next time, I'll see you then.